Caleb, in the preseason, you talked about going on the road, maybe giving some different looks, kind of being practical at times. Is that something you kind of always plan to do, or when you have your full group, maybe not doing it as much? I'm just curious your insight on when you might choose to do that.
For me, it's always about winning games, always. So I've always had that approach, home or away, look at the opponent, look at our team, look at our personnel, how can we win the game? That's never been anything I've not thought about. It's no different this year, it's no different this game.
Okay, so
Win the game. Like, that's always our approach, is put out a plan to win the game.
okay, and how does that line up with what you're expecting from San Jose this week?
Yeah, San Jose in particular, is similar in some ways to Vancouver. They've been playing with a bit more of a back three, wing backs that push very high, but they're playing more of a 3-4-3 versus a 3-5-2. So there's some differences, in the front part of their team. They lost 3-1 at home, but early in the game, they had several chances to go up 1-0. Obviously, if they would have finished a couple of those chances, the game would have been a lot different. It was 1-1 pretty late in the game, obviously ended 3-1, but their attack is a handful. Bobosi, very good striker. Montero, who they got from Philadelphia Union, a very good player. Chofi, excellent player. And then Espinoza on the right wing back, if they go with the 3-4-3, and then Cade Cowell, the left wing back. That front five is a handful, and we have to be smart in how we manage those players. Obviously, once we win the ball, it's also about how can we create chances versus their defensive shape and structure. So those are all things we've prepped all week. Another good week of training. We had a full week to prepare. But yeah, back to your point, we're not doing the exact same thing this game. There'll be adjustments. You might not see all those adjustments, but there's a plan that relates to San Jose.
You had mentioned after the game, although the defense didn't get a ton of work, Milos didn't seem to have a bad step. And I'm just curious, when you're looking at a guy like him who has played in Champions League, those huge environments, does that kind of tell you that you can put a guy like that into any environment? He's just going to be ready to compete when you get a player that has played at that stage.
Yeah, especially with central defenders. A lot of times, if they played at a high level, and he's played left center back a ton, you just know what you're going to get. And I think we saw that in the first game. He's a guy mentally that's always going to be up for it. All central defenders are going to get beat some, but he's not going to get beat between the ears. He's a focused guy. He's a smart player, and I prefer that type of central defender, to be honest with you. I'd rather have a guy that's focused and smart and is locked in, reading the game and focused for 90 plus minutes, than a guy that's maybe a little more athletic but might tune out, for moments and not read the game or lose focus. So I think he's the type of guy that we needed. He's an organizer, good pro, very focused, good leader in the locker room, and a steady Eddie. He's going to be game in, game out. A guy that's not going to take any plays off. But for every goal, you're going to be able to attribute that back to usually multiple mistakes, and usually it's going to be central defenders in those moments. But I don't think this will be a team that makes too many mistakes, big ones. Certainly not on the ball, certainly not for focus or reading the game. But there'll be some times for sure, hopefully not this game, where we get broken down. But I just feel very confident in Milos and Jonah, individually, collectively. Our back four unit, we've shown that in preseason first game that we're rock solid. But I would say that this team, San Jose, is as talented in the front five as any team in the league, honestly.
How careful do you guys have to be, or are you planning to be with Artur, given what he dealt with last year?
I think we'll continue to watch him week to week. The nice thing again is that we have a full week in between games that allows us to recover properly and to build really every player up the right way. Obviously we're still somewhat in a building phase, especially with him. He's not a full 90 minutes fit yet. I think he'll be closer towards that in this game. But I think the big thing with him is recovery, making sure he gets a good 48 hours to recover, and then, the right amount of load to continue building and progressing towards 90 minutes. But he felt good this week. I think it'll be more, in that compacted window in the summer where we start to play some 3 and 8s, where we got to be really careful with him and other players as well.
Is that where Aiden, Perry, when the other guys in there can really make their mark? I mean, you talked up Artur so much, and obviously the way he played Saturday reflected that, but these other guys that you have kind of waiting in the wings, is that where you see them kind of fitting in when he needs that break?
Yeah, or if we change formations, obviously. So it just, again, week to week, the goal's to win. Obviously to win, we got to have the right group to execute, the right plan to execute. But we won't approach any game just as it's same team, same sub, same plan. Never done that. But on the road, can we be a little bit more, the word is pragmatic. Can we be a little more pragmatic? But I would say we were pretty pragmatic at home this last game too. You didn't see us flying around the field like chickens with our heads cut off. We were organized. We had a very, good shape about us. We had the right mindset of when to press and how. It wasn't reckless. We felt that was the right plan, and every game there's a little bit different plan, and we have a different plan this game. So I think if we execute, hopefully we'll be in a good position to win the game. But it's still going to come down to making plays as well, always. But we saw some things a little bit last game we need to clean up, both sides of the ball. We saw some things that we can do to exploit San Jose, both sides of the ball. We trained those things this week. We showed video on those things this week, and our selections will reflect that as well.
Derek talked to us in the preseason about wanting to get off to a good start. He knows he's finished the last couple of years well. Obviously, he played well, had the goal. When you see a player that starts the season well, how can that build, not only on his ability but confidence, and do you see him as a guy that has kind of taken that, at least for now, that left wing spot?
Yeah, again, if we play 4-2-3-1, obviously, he's done well enough to keep that position for 1 week, but he's got to keep performing. But he was involved in 3 of the 4 goals. He didn't get the assist on the 3rd goal, but probably should have, because he set that up by driving inside, and G got a little touch on it before Luis Diaz finished. But he was involved in a lot of actions, a lot of great moments, and he should have scored a couple more actually. So there were some spots that he got in where he could have taken a better first touch, which would have given him a better angle. There was one where maybe he could have hit it one time. So those are little things that we'll nitpick and improve on. But yeah, I love the confidence that he has right now, and I think he's been more decisive in those moments. I thought he was very decisive on the goal that he scored. Great touch, great finish. So yeah, we'll keep working with them, and obviously Yeboah, same, great ball to Derek for the goal. A lot of moments that he got in where he could have done some different things. Same thing, a little bit more decisive, precision, decision. Those 2 guys, you have to say, were a big part of us winning the game.
With Derek, I was gonna talk about that. He doesn't get those 2 other assists, but he was so big involved in the last 2 goals. Is there anything you see different from him from last year to this year, coming off of an off season where he was very vocal about producing more? Is there something you can pinpoint as to like he's gotten better in these areas?
Yeah, confidence. Confidence is developed through competence, and you develop competence through training. And I think his attitude in training has been excellent. We put these guys always in situations where they can develop that understanding, that competence, which breeds confidence. So I think for me, it's always the training ground. You know, I look at our team versus Vancouver. We had 5.5 weeks, and I think you saw we were well drilled, we were fit, we were sharp. The habits from training for me showed up in the game over our preparation of the preseason. And I always say this, the day-to-day habits, you know, you are who you are through those training sessions. And you make your habits, and then your habits make you. And I think we're developing really good habits right now in training from a physical, tactical, technical, and psychological standpoint.
Is there anything from the first week or the first game that you take away, and it's maybe an intangible? It doesn't show up on the score sheet, but something that you as a coach leave that first week and you can build off of going into week 2 here in MLS to continue staying on this right foot?
I think again, going back to, you know, we want to play aggressive, but we need to be organized and intelligent. And sometimes you get a good mindset, you're aggressive, but you're not intelligent and organized enough. In other games, we've been very organized and not aggressive enough. So I think, at least on that day, we found the right balance.
Yeah.
We need to do it again. And, you know, I think the leadership of the team inside the lines, their ownership is key to that. I can't motivate 27 guys perfectly, because I could give a great talk and I'd motivate half the guys and demotivate the other half, because everybody's motivated differently. So I think that sharp focus, laser focus, that mentality, consistent mentality comes through players in the locker room taking ownership and holding each other accountable. And I think these are guys that push each other. And that helps a lot when you have guys that push each other and push themselves. But those intangibles were really good. Vancouver. Now I'm looking to see, can we go on the road? Can we play a team that just lost at home, perform well, not take them lightly? Because we're certainly not taking them lightly in our preparation. They're capable. But I want to see a consistent mentality home and away, consistent mentality no matter who we're playing. In this league, if you don't have that, you can lose to anyone. Certainly on the road, any team can beat you, and San Jose is capable. And they're going to be desperate a little bit, you know, because they're on the road after this game. They're a team that plays extremely aggressive. They create a lot of chaos in how they play. It's a scary game to play, actually. You watch their talent, you watch how they play. They give to get. They're in duels a lot. You know, and if we don't find that calm in the chaos, you know, they can open you up. So I think that's going to be key, is being up for the fight and the running and the intensity, but also being in control, mentally and tactically.
Thank you.
Thanks, Caleb.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
Caleb.
Yep, see you guys.